Hey guys, thank you for taking a bit of time out to join me on Godspot today. I want to talk to you about transformed thinking. It says in Ephesians 4:23, Paul is writing, and be renewed in the spirit of your mind. Now when Paul writes this, he's challenging believers about putting off the old man and putting on the new man/woman. And what he's addressing is he's addressing their behaviors, their attitudes, and even their mindsets. And he sort of wraps this up by saying, be renewed, be transformed in the way that you think. You know, the biggest battle that you and I face in life is in the mind. And the problem is, as we go through life, if we listen to what's in the mind, it can be very detrimental to what we're about to do. And it can also put limitations upon us. Now you see, life has a way of influence us, and especially the way we think, what we listen to in music, what people say to us, what we read, what we watch. All these things change the way we think. And even the interaction with each other. There are times we get offended, we get upset, or we get hurt, and we feel traumatized. And you know, today PTSD is huge. It's a big topic. And even in the workplace now, the government has decided that the employer is responsible for the mental health of the employee, or the pastor for the mental health of their church ministry team. And so it goes on and on and on. But either way, when we go through a traumatic experience, the lizard part of our brain begins to overreact. Now, the lizard part of our brain is that part of the brain that keeps us safe, that keeps us protected, and it helps us evaluate risks as we go through life. But what happens when you go through a traumatic experience where you've been hurt or offended or upset or abandoned is it begins to overreact. It begins to tell you things that don't make a lot of sense. Now think about this. I'm 6'6", I'm larger than life, I walk into a room, but the lizard part of my brain says stay small, find a corner, stay hidden, get out of the way. Why does that happen? Well, like you, I've been through a few traumatic experiences in my life, and the lizard part of my brain is overreacting. That part of your brain might say something similar to you, might say things to you like, you don't belong here. You're sitting at the Christmas family table and they're saying you don't belong there. It's ridiculous. But we listen to it many times. Other times you've got a wealth of knowledge, experience, and the lizard part of your brain, because of traumatic experiences of rejection, will tell you don't say anything, they'll just laugh at you. Shut up. Yet you're at a meeting, and you're at that meeting, invited to that meeting to actually put something on the table and to interact with other people. You might walk into a room, whether it be in a church or the business, and your lizard part of your brain will say, they're talking about you. And you'll look around and go, yeah, they are. You start believing it. And then the other part of your brain will say, well, you're a mess. You know, I know what that's like. I've been through a series of counseling, and at the beginning, the guy would ask me, how you going? What do you think about who you are? And I said, I'm just a mess. And he would just spin him out a bit, because what this is, my lizard part of my brain is overreacting, and I shouldn't listen to it. Now, we all struggle in these areas of the mind. And Paul is saying, think differently. Be transformed in the way that you think. So how do we do that? Well, when those voices come into our head, we need to tell them to shut up. I like a saying I read many years ago. It says, you can't stop the birds flying over your head, but you can stop the birds building a nest in your hair. It's the same with these thoughts. When these thoughts arise, we need to shut them up. We need to tell them to get lost. Literally speak to them and say, you don't know what you're talking about. It's a ridiculous statement. Leave me alone. And then press forward, because if we don't, it'll limit us from any success that we want to have, whether it be in business, sales, whether it be in ministry, whatever it may be, even in family and relationships, it can ruin us. So we need to learn to tell it to shut up. Then we need to remind ourselves, what does God think about us? I think this is really important. God thinks we're a child of his kingdom. God thinks we're worthy of his son dying upon a cross. God thinks we're precious. God thinks we're the apple of his eye. Quote those back to yourself, and I guarantee if you will tackle this and fight it, it'll really help you. I hope this helps you today. Change the way you think. Thanks for listening. Hit the like button, share it with someone else.